Hello and welcome to our 2 to 3 minute recap video series. Today we are talking about numbers and not in the form of maths. We're talking about different variables, different numbers that people, in particular clients, need to know in order to stay healthy. Now, as part of the Know Your Numbers health campaign, we are talking about blood pressure predominantly. Now, because blood pressure is an asymptomatic condition, it doesn't have any side effects, it's very hard for people to know what their blood pressure is or realise that their blood pressure is raised unless they have it tested regularly. So, to recap what healthy blood pressure should be and when they're not. A healthy optimal blood pressure is considered 120 over 80 millimeters of mercury. Anything in that area and under is considered optimal. Anything up to 139 over 89 is considered high side of normal. So again, if someone's blood pressure is regularly in that high side of normal category, then you may want to be recommending that they make some lifestyle changes if they haven't spoken to a GP or health professional. For example, being more active, walking more, cutting down on any stresses, so maybe cutting down on caffeine, on alcohol. They may need to reduce the amount of salt in their diet and potentially saturated fat as well. They may need to cut down on stress, so they need to think about different stress management techniques. All these different things can contribute to the development of raised blood pressure, but if caught early enough, then it won't become too much of a problem for the individual if they make these changes. When someone's blood pressure is 140 over 90 millimeters of mercury, that's then the start of the high blood pressure classifications, and it goes up in stages. So 140 over 90 is the start of stage 1, 160 over 100 is the start of stage 2, and 180 over 110 is stage 3. Now, a client with high blood pressure, diagnosed high blood pressure, would need to make sure they have medical clearance before they come and exercise with you. But just to highlight, we don't exercise with someone if their blood pressure is 180 over 100 or 110 on that given day. Now, blood pressure goes up and down throughout the day, and various different circumstances can influence someone's blood pressure. So it might mean that you have to turn them away from exercise on that particular day if they identify, or you've identified, they have an absolute contraindication to exercise reading. Doesn't mean though that they can't come back maybe the next day or the next week and try again, because blood pressure varies. Now, if someone's blood pressure does get as high as 180 over 100 or 110, then it's best practice, especially if you're the one that's identified it, to make sure they speak to their medical professional and check what they say and what their guidance is at that point. So knowing your numbers is really important, and that's why this campaign and this health initiative is important to spread around. So you can share this video with your clients to make sure that they're aware of blood pressure classifications and what they mean, or maybe make your own video so that you can share that information with them. So it is really important to make sure people are aware of their blood pressure ranges, because as I said, there are no symptoms for a lot of people, even when they have really high blood pressure. And if they aren't unwell in any other way, they may have no reason to go to their doctors or other healthcare professionals because they've got no other reason to be there. So if you can, maybe do various points throughout the year, do blood pressure checks just to see how everyone is, as you might be the best way for them to catch it early on and make those changes to their lifestyles. So I hope that makes sense, and I will speak to you in our next recap video.